Howdy, folks. I'm Marshall Jim. Welcome to Deadlands. Deadlands Noir, to be precise. This is once again this is the second section of our little mini campaign that we're doing here out in the Dust Bowl region, and we're going to go ahead and go around and say hi to everybody. And just sort of see once again who they are and who they're playing. Before I do that, though, I just want to once again give a shout out to you, to the YouTube viewers. Thank you very much, you in the future, for coming in, staring this far back into the past. We very much appreciate it. Let's go around and say hi to everybody. We're going to start once again with Ray. Hello.
Oh, hey. Ah, sorry. My computer volume decided to be really loud. But hi, hey, I'm Ray. I am with Brick on the interwebs. I play in tabletop games. I run a tabletop 5e campaign currently over on the Straticus Academy. And yeah, I'm also here on Fridays. So tomorrow night, actually, is the finale of the Seawall Orphanage. So, sorry, forgot the title of my own game. But yeah, the finale is at 6 p.m. Eastern here on the channel. So y'all should come watch because it's going to get really insane. But today I play Piper, and Piper is just the fun-loving little carny girl who plays with fire and may have some other things happening soon. Who knows? So
yes. I'm very much looking forward to seeing how that goes.
I'm so excited.
Awesome.
I'm so excited to be here.
And as we continue, me too. I'm so happy. And now moving around to Colin. Hello.
Hello. I'm Colin Kelly, as you can see up there. I play Richard. He's a security guard for the Carnival, and clearly has some extra stuff going on with cannibals, as was seen last episode. So we'll see if there's more to do with that today.
It's just a little bit of cannibalism. Yeah.
So
and just a tiny bit. And now let's head over to Anna. Hello.
Hello, I am Anna, or Nymeria, as you can see, and today I am playing Willa, who is the no-nonsense Carnival business manager, public relations, jack of all trades kind of gal.
Absolutamente. And now let's say hello to Nat. Hello.
Hi, I'm Nat. I'm going to be playing a magical liar today. You can find me on the interwebs at CrimeNet. Bloop. Up above, I play Lord Felden. Definitely a lord. Absolutely accurate. Definitely doesn't have a spooky thing following him around. Definitely not worried today. Yep.
Absolutely non-occult at all related landed gentry. Absolutely. And now finally over to Pepper. Hello.
Hello, everyone. My name is Pepper. I am playing Mordecai Keller, the photographer, hawker, war veteran, who has a little something unusual tucked up his sleeve. I'm very curious to see what's going to happen, especially with the cannibals in the tent. You can find me at MeBeThem4815 on Twitter.
Awesome. Well, before we dive in, though, let's go ahead and hand things off, reaching deep into the past to look upon the words of past Charlie as she discusses our sponsors, Fantasy Grounds and World Anvil.
Past Charlie here to tell you about a few of our sponsors. Fantasy Grounds is our virtual tabletop of choice, providing us access to roles, tokens, maps, and more. You can try it today for free at fantasygrounds.com. While you're there, why not check out Fantasy Grounds Unity? World Anvil is a remarkable resource, whether you're a writer, GM, or player, organizing your campaign notes or building an entire world. Get forging today for free at worldanvil.com. And before we get into today's game, we'd like to shout out our friends at Andrews McMeel Publishing, who published the wonderful game Zweihander. If you haven't checked that out, you can catch it here on Wednesdays. We'd also like to mention Modifius, who manage and produce a wide range of RPGs. Whether you feel like being Dishonored, exploring a tale from the loop, or boldly going with Star Trek adventures, why not check out modifius.com?
Welcome back, welcome back. And last time, just to get folks caught up here, our company of investigators arrived in Mission Flats, Colorado, and met with the town's mayor to make arrangements for the carnival to come through. They were welcomed with open arms, and the mayor suggested a site to the north of town, inside of the old Wailing Rock mine, where a pillar of smoke rises from a still-burning vein of ghost rock. In checking out the site, they discovered a half-eaten corpse being hidden in a tent by a group of itinerant workers who looked very worried over it and insisted the body would be gone soon. This led our party to rethink setting up the carnival up there, but as they were deliberating in their hotel room, Michael Taylor, the hotel's owner and a rival to the mayor in the upcoming election, knocked on their door and offered them the use of another site on the south end of town. They cautiously accepted, but were highly suspicious. After he left them alone, Fenton felt a presence and heard a voice in his ear, familiar to him, say, "Ah, then this is where he landed. This is where it could all end." And that is where we left off. So, it is evening. We're in the hotel room. And just wanted to see what's going to happen. But before I mention that, just before we get into that, just as a reminder, seems that something's going on. So if you folks would like to help with things, if you look sort of down below at the donation levels, for everywhere it says crit success or crit failure, that basically we're translating in this game as bennies. Bennies are the lifeblood in many ways of the Savage Worlds. And so a crit success means that you give that player a Benny. That one, and actually if you're donating, that means that's permanent. That actually lasts from session to session, unlike the way Bennies normally work in Savage Worlds, just the common ones that I hand out. If you donate them, they will last until they use them. And so that's for crit success. If you donate for a crit fail, that just means I get a Benny, because I do get them in this system. And of course, the more that I have, the more difficult their opponents are to take down. If you get sort of at the £10 level, we have Banes and Boons, which is sort of narrative things are going to happen, and I have thoughts about that as to how that's going to go. Similarly, some narrative things are going to happen when we hit a certain level of RTs. I believe it's when we hit the 20 RTs. That's going to be the first one where we have a positive thing that will be happening. I think probably this session is going to come in the form of information, but we'll see sort of where things are flowing when we get there. And of course, you can sort of look down on the chart and see various things. Also, if you donate for big crits, that means everyone gets a Benny. All the players, at least. And then, of course, we see Twist of Fate, which is always a delight. Creating an NPC, which you work on, you'll work on me with offline separately. And then, of course, Ultimate Power, which I cannot wait to see what that is. So if anyone wants to donate for that, I'm all in. And now, let us return to the hotel room and find out what our carnies want to do. Hey, folks. So that just happened. Felden was the only one who heard that voice. Everyone else, perhaps, I don't know if you had noticed things you were perhaps a little bit weirded out by the whole thing, but it is a bit of a boon that just someone is opened up their life for you. What are you doing?
Yeah, I do believe when that happened, Felden did take a good turn to over his shoulder and say, "God, not right now."
Would Kai have noticed that?
I can't imagine how you'd miss it.
Anyone standing near Felden hears him basically say that to thin air.
I didn't say anything.
Has anyone seen you do that before in this company, or would
Probably
this be the first time?
Kai. We've talked about the thing before.
Mm-hmm.
John Carpenter.
Kai is just going to he's going to subtly reach down and just adjust the knobs on his camera and aim it toward Felton and snap a couple pictures quietly. Trying to see if he can get the thing behind him.
Willa just sort of ignores this whole thing because she's seen this happen before, and she's just like, yeah, whatever. They're just taking pictures. No biggie.
Yeah, Piper is
They're just
sitting
weird
with
that
her
way.
her bag of licorice, just kind of like popping a few in her mouth every so often and just kind of like following around. And when it happens, she's just like cocks an eye and is just like, that's a little weird. Oh, well, like everyone's weird in the carnival.
Like seeing the bag of licorice, Kai just kind of like puts on his best puppy dog eyes and kind of holds out his hand Oliver Twist style.
She's like, Kai, you don't gotta ask.
Thank
she
you
like holds
so
it out to
much,
you.
my dear. He takes 3. He's not going to be greedy, just a few.
So, how we feeling about this Michael Taylor fellow?
Can't really say I trust him, but it's just awful
Something
convenient.
about him puts... Exactly, it's too convenient. That puts my teeth on edge.
I agree, although I think as long as he doesn't suck us into whatever local political stump speeching is that he's doing, I'm all right with taking advantage of this as long as, we're able to keep our business separate and to ourselves. We'll leave this town and it won't matter.
Even if he does draw us into his little local politics, we leave at the end of the day.
Exactly.
Okay.
We don't stay around here and get involved in mayoral elections or whatever it is that he's working on. Honestly, I like it a lot better than just canceling the carnival and packing up.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's something he said that made me...
Do you think he wants something? In return for helping us? Do you think he's going to try and cash in? He seems like a kind of seller that might just come back.
That
I
is a
guess we
very
just gotta
good
prepare for that.
point.
I mean, Felden said it's all just too convenient.
I have 2
no.
thoughts in mind. The first is one of us, well, preferably a pair of us, should go check out the site near the South Field, just to keep on the up. And I was thinking someone who is good with people could talk to Mr. Taylor and see what he would like in exchange.
Richard's just kind of looking at Felton. That one.
I'll help go check out the site. There's something he said last time. Made it sound like he's been around a little bit longer than he should be. If you get what I mean.
Oh, I do.
And evil likes to keep its distance from evil sometimes.
So,
I mean, I don't mind going and talking to him. I'm not sure what you mean by that, but I could see if I could figure out what he wants.
That would be very kind of you, Willa. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. No worries.
wonderful.
Question for the marshal.
So,
What time is it currently?
It's about let's see, spring out west. And the sun at this point is just set. So we're going to say it's about 7-ish.
All right. You sure you guys want to go out in the middle of dark to do all this? Should we wait till tomorrow?
Honestly, I'm fine with waiting until tomorrow. I'm tired. We drove all this way here.
Oh, it's
Plus, I don't
Mission
exactly
Flats,
like how
Colorado.
it looks,
I think we'll be fine and safe checking out a parking lot tonight.
Should we all go then, and not just a few? I mean, if it is dark, we really don't know these parts, even if it is just a parking lot. I'd hate if something happened to anybody.
Yeah, I suppose.
I agree. Might actually be good to make sure that we're all in agreement and on the same page that we want to run the carnival in this location.
I agree. That is a wonderful idea. I'm willing to go out tonight and take a look around at the site if anybody's willing to join me.
I think we should all go.
Yep.
This way we can all see the same things.
Would we have access to like flashlights and things like that? Because I think it's going to be a little, this is like an out of character question. It'd be weird if we were like, light the torches, go into the wilderness kind of thing.
I did
Can we
have
do
to
this?
buy road flares because they're aesthetic as fuck for light.
I have a flashlight in my gear, so.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
I
Mordecai
was
had
like,
the flashlight
what's the
too.
situation here?
Oh,
Sweet.
really?
Yeah, I mean, the
Alright.
stores are still open. If nothing else, the stores are still open. You can go buy a flashlight if you need to. That's not a problem.
As long as a few of us have them, basically, I just wanted to make sure that we weren't, being super conspicuous as we're doing this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
Wonderful.
No problem. Okay, so let me know once again. Let's see if we're how this is all breaking down. Is everyone heading out to go check out the lot, or are some of you staying behind? What's going on?
I think
I think we're all
going.
heading out.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
we're
think
all
we're all
gonna
good.
go.
Everybody? Okay. Right. Okay. So. Folks, make your way out of the. You make your way out. You can hear upstairs just very faintly. It's not so loud that you hear it in the rooms. Really, very much. It's more out in the hallway. You can kind of sort of faintly hear from upstairs, one of the suites. You hear music. You heard music playing, and probably some people up there. You head down and out. And if any of you wish to, you may go and pick up flashlights at the local at the general store, the convenience store.
How much does a flashlight cost?
It is not horribly expensive. Let me open the item table, and I shall tell you. Okay, Denlands Noir. Flashlights are a buck a piece.
Sure, I'll take a flashlight. I don't think I had one in my starting gear.
I did not,
guess
so I
I'll
will
take
also
one.
take one.
Awesome.
$6 remain.
We now have.
I feel so rich. I have like $30 left.
I've got like
I have $49.
Kai's
so
got
rich.
quite a bit left too. I need to fix
Yeah.
my door, otherwise the cat's
Why
gonna
are we still in
interrupt.
this carnival?
You realize that at the end of
realize-
every in-game week, you all lose half your money, right?
Yeah, that's for games that last for over a week, yeah.
That's true.
So that is a thing. That was always the fun time in the campaign that I ran a while back. That it was like, okay, we were like, okay, every Monday, you want to get some spending in before you get cut in half. Let me know. But you've acquired flashlights, and you head out to the south, to the sort of this the site of this this vacant lot that apparently belongs to Michael Taylor, and you see it's a decent night. There doesn't seem to be there's not much in the way of rain out here generally, so it comes from time to time. But as you're you're heading out, there's a breeze blowing. You can kind of there you can kind of see the sky through a very little bit of a haze that kind of gets generated from both the mine and from off in the distance. Actually, from this lot, you can see as you're heading out, and there are a few lights, a couple of lights that are up. Not many, just one or two. So the flashlights do help. You have this basically big cement sort of or just sort of lot here. Just no markings on it. This is before that became common. So it's like largely cement and gravel type stuff, and it's sort of out behind what's probably was a large grocery store that appears not to have done terribly well, but since it is now closed, you can see from here. There is sort of, light on the horizon enough that you can kind of see from here out to another place where smoke is rising. That's from the Hexaco plant, about 10-ish, about a dozen miles away. And you can also see off kind of to the, you sort of turn, you can see kind of off to the southwest. You think there's sort of a little bit of a rise in the distance in the landscape that you think is the Black Mesa, which sits sort of at the intersection of three states, and not too far from the lot, as you sort of turn and look, is the start of that larger tent city, sort of Hooverville, that you saw coming in. It's sort of at the edge of it. It doesn't come like right up to the edge of the lot, but that's basically what you see. So that's everything that is obvious when you come out and you're taking a look around. What would you like
Do
to
I
do?
spot any, just because you said the tent city was nearby, do I spot any of those like hobo code markings or anything like that around here that I would recognize?
Make a notice roll for me, please.
Okay, notice. Not too bad at noticing. 5.
Okay. Let me see here. So you flash the light around, sort of heading sort of in the direction of the tent city. There is a post. There are a few posts that kind of mark the far side of the lot. You think that's basically where the property line is. And on one of them, you do see some. You do see a couple of symbols on one of them.
Oh.
Are you familiar? Is Willa familiar with hobo sign?
Yes.
Okay. So it is weird because on the furthest post, that you're looking. Well, okay, on the nearest post, there's kind of what looks like a symbol that's sort of the sort of like the omega symbol on its side. And it basically says the owner is out, is what
Okay.
is what that symbol means. that whoever owns the building area doesn't come here and look at it.
Right.
And you see a few more posts a little further, sort of between here and the camp. Are you going to go and check those out as well, or are you just staying strictly in the lot itself?
I'm gonna stay in the lot for now, but I'll just make a mental note that I see some other signs etched into posts that I might go look around. But for now, let's just keep it close together. Thank you.
You did basically. You can see that there's more stuff etched in on some posts that are further away, but like closer to that camp. But you can't make out what they are from here.
I will just add. I'll mention to the group. Doesn't look like we're gonna have to worry too much about the property owner getting upset with us for using this place. If indeed it is Michael Taylor, it doesn't seem like this is a place that he comes and frequents too terribly often.
Still seems way too easy if you ask me.
Maybe we should just look around and make sure that we don't see any signs of like wild animals or whatnot like you found up at the North Field area. I'll just, look around and see if there's any, I don't know, like, when you look around an area, does it look like there's a lot of abandoned trash, or are there any kind of animal tracks or droppings, anything that would indicate that, I don't know, there'd be any natural dangers in this place?
Sure. I think everyone who is looking around right now, may also feel free to make notice rolls.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Ooh.
Oh no.
And notice is my highest stat.
All right.
The dice giveth and the dice taketh.
Right.
Yes, they do. So, Kai got a bust. Basically, Kai got snake eyes there, and but thankfully Piper got a raise on her notice. So, you folks are looking around, and so your initial this takes a little time, as the lot's pretty big. So you sort of are all sort of looking around the perimeter, I would assume, things of that nature. So yeah, there is something that that does happen as Kai kind of will get sort of to the edge, and you'll notice what looks kind of like a sort of a trail that you start to follow. It looks like it continues on from the it's gravel. So you get to a point where you're no longer on concrete and you're on gravel, and you start heading out a little further as you're just sort of looking, because there's something that you can't quite put your finger on that looks, it's like there's this note of almost familiarity to it that you're not entirely sure. And you're sort of looking, and it's like there's a point where you think you see something. You're a bit of a ways out. You think you see something, like maybe it's because you've been pointing your flashlight, and you see what looks like something underneath some of the gravel. And you're sort of, and I think you probably are going, sort of brushing some of it away so you can see it's like someone's drawn something in there.
Yeah, Kai's gonna explore that on it and take a look.
Yeah. So you're looking at that, and I think this is the point at which Piper notices someone is running in Kai's direction, from the direction of this figure, just sort of comes out of the darkness, and is very, very quiet. Kai doesn't appear to have noticed them, but they're just sort of like lumbering, racing in Kai's direction.
On all fours?
Not on all fours, but there's like this sort of this lumbering motion that Piper, you're just at the edge. You notice. Sorry.
Kai, am I crazy, or is that a person? And she's gonna like address everybody to look in that direction to see if they can also see this lumbering human or thing.
Guy's gonna shine his flashlight and aim his
Okay,
camera.
all right. Let me just do a thing here real quick.
Oh God.
Oh dear.
It's never good.
Every
It
time
has to
you
do with
hesitate, I'm just like, I
So-
feel my heart go boom, boom, boom.
So, yeah, you see this. When you raise your flashlight, you see this person who is almost on you. At this point, and they are. It's this. Looks kind of like a young man. And he's just kind of like, he's just like, and he's like basically almost there, and he's like, oh God, and he's like just sort of is about to plow into you, pretty much. Would you like to get out of the way? I think is the question.
No, Kai's gonna try to stop him and slow him down. Try to catch him.
Excellent. I think, no, there's no roll needed here necessarily. I just sort of wanted to know how you were going to be standing here. Yeah, you do. It's basically like just is like at you, and you are. I will say, actually, you know what? I will say, go ahead and make for me a strength roll real quick, just so we can see the results of that. Okay, 4.
Okay.
Yeah, you just barely managed to catch him as he's like, and he's just sort of like, and this guy is terrified. You're not you're not sure what the deal is.
Easy, son. Easy,
like-
easy. What's wrong?
You manage to stop him, and he's like, and he sinks to his knees immediately, and he's like, and he you can see that he's wearing an old ragged coat, and trousers and such. This is one of the hobos, and he's like, help, you there?
Is he injured in any way?
And if you want to go up and examine him.
Yep.
Because he's kind of now collapsed, sort of in Kaya's arms at this point.
I'll follow, but with my flashlight sort of trained in the direction that guy came running from, just to see if something was chasing him. It doesn't surprise us.
And I think Piper's going to keep an eye out on the other parts of the surroundings that are like around in the opposite direction of where he was running.
Yeah. Okay. So, as you check him over, you see that he's fairly incoherent. He's having trouble even getting words out. You can see that there's like there's like blood dripping from his from his arm, and possibly some from a little bit from his side.
from a wound? or
How
just
much blood?
Not a lot. But a little bit. And kind of you're sort of, I take it, he's not, he's at this point, he's very much, he's kind of like half delirious at this point. So he's not even sure that you're doing it. But as you sort of, you kind of have to remove his, or you sort of roll up his sleeve if you want to sort of say, or take off his coat.
Yeah,
if you want to
Kai's
actually see.
Yeah, Kai's gonna take off his coat and pull up his shirt and try to like look to see if he's shot, stabbed, cut, bit, stung, something.
Okay. You're kind of looking down. Viper, as you're looking over in the direction he was running from, you will see sort of the silhouette of someone sort of walking out of the tent city. They're kind of a little bit, they're not like fully hunched over, but they seem they're kind of, it's like they're slouching or something as they kind of come out. Just kind of not entirely, it's like there's something a little funny about the way that they're walking. You're not entirely sure, but right now, again, all you're seeing is a silhouette. They're still pretty far away, the tent city, and the sort of the little bit of light that's cast from, they think they've got a campfire going in there. And they just sort of stand there and seem to be looking in your direction.
If I am close enough to Felden, I'll kind of like knock him on the arm and be like, hey, Felden, I'm not quite sure if you see that other looming silhouette over there, but if you do, can you keep an eye on that one? I think he might be the reason why this poor boy's hurt.
Of course. And Felton's gonna squint a little bit and look at the way the person's hunched a little bit. And I'm wondering if our illustrious marshal might let me roll an occult roll to try to understand.
Right now you've got a silhouette, so it's going to be rough. You can make an occult roll and we'll see kind of what you might get from it.
Worst case, I don't, and then we're not any. Worst case, we know what the worst case is, really.
Sure. Okay.
That's an 11.
Okay. You're going to need more information, you think, but the way that they're moving, this individual there is something that is very much affecting the way that this person is moving in such a way you would almost think that this person might not be fully human anymore.
Okay, so I got alarm bells going off in the back of my head. All right.
Those of you who are at this point looking at this guy, you can see that he does have what looks like a couple of chunks taken out of his arm and one out of his side. It doesn't look too serious. They're not huge chunks.
Were they sliced?
Yeah. Oh no, these are bite marks.
Or like human sized or smaller?
Approximately human sized.
Cool.
Yikes!
All right. And then Richard will kind of grab the doctor's bag that's around his shoulder and start taking stuff out.
Meanwhile, Kai's just talking to the kid, like grabbing his face, kind of making him look at him. He's like, "Hey, what's your name? I'm Mordecai. What's your name?"
And he's looking around. He's kind of, it takes him a minute, and he's like, Norman.
Norman, good to meet you, Norman. Do you live around here or Where's your home? Where can we take you?
And I've already named someone Norman. There are 2 Normans now. How dare?
Oh no, that never happens in real life. Immersion broken.
Never ever happens in real life. But I fell into a terrible trap. No, he at this point seems like he doesn't fully seem to understand what you're asking. After that, he's just sort of like, I don't feel good.
Do I think this guy has any chance to be saved by Richard?
Richard, what are you doing? Are you doing first aid or something of that nature?
Yep, trying to
Colin?
patch him up.
Specifically, yeah, Richard, go. Yeah, Richard, go ahead and make a healing roll for me, please.
Could I?
Not trained in that, but I think the doctor's bag is a +2, so it'll cancel out the unskilled penalty.
Could I
Yep.
boost his attribute for that?
Sure. You want to do your thing? Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take a few steps back, still eyes trained in that direction of that silhouette, and go, put a hand on Richard and goes, not even looking. Well, Richard, the only chance this guy's got. Hands steady, eyes focused. And he's trying to boost attribute.
All right.
So no pressure there, Dick.
However,
Oh.
that doesn't work.
I don't think
Interesting.
attribute.
Well,
Oh.
let's take a look here.
That
I believe it's time to consult the
Doesn't work.
table. Hold on.
Bennies can't help with that at all, can they?
No, it cannot. No, they cannot. That was a.
Nope. If he crit
Yeah,
fail,
very
it's
critical
Benny.
fails cannot be re-rolled
Yeah.
in any way, shape,
I
or
know that-
form.
I know that can't be rerolled, but I've seen mechanics in similar games where it's like they can negate the crit effect, the crit fail effect.
Those sound like very interesting games. Let's see.
I only ask because I don't know. That's all.
Okay.
Now I looked this up because I always wanted to find out for sure how luck mechanics work, and like this system does not let you halfling away a crit fail.
All right. So let's see here now, as we glance over the appropriate, as we glance over the appropriate thing. You see grifters, and suffers a particularly powerful form of backlash. Let's roll on the overdose table. There we go. Okay. So let me see if it's, let me see if I have it. Yes, I have it. Okay, good. Excellent. Okay. Unfortunately, I can't ask you to roll the number. Or I guess I could. I could ask you to roll the number. Because I could click this thing and roll it, but I like it better when the players roll their own doom. So roll a
Is it
d20 for me,
percentile?
if you would, please.
D20.
It's a d20.
Pew! 10.
Okay. Dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. Okay. So I need you to make a vigor roll for me, please, now.
I'm so good at those. I
As you
promise.
feel this, as you're trying to you say the words and the words are starting to repeat in your head, and you hear your friend just sort of chuckling. You got a 3 on your vigor roll.
I think I'll spend
That
a
is the
Benny
thing
on
you
that.
can, Benny, if you want. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead and
Because,
go ahead and
like,
reroll
I got
that.
a lot of these things.
Yeah.
7.
Okay, 7. That's better. So being successful at that, then it's not as bad as it was about to be. So you are, first off. So here's the deal. You feel it's like when you've just you hear these words that you're saying, and you hear them repeated back at you, almost mockingly by the voice. And as this is happening, there's like you can feel almost you're trying to say it and you're choking. It feels like your lungs are filling with smoke for just a moment as you're trying to breathe, and you taste the cigarette smoke in your palate, and you feel you feel drained, so you are shaken, and you have picked up a level of fatigue, and you realize you're going to need to rest for a little bit as this is going on, because this is there's a
What does
thing.
fatigue do?
Let me see here. Fatigue, it basically gives you -1 to everything until you can do the thing that gets rid of the fatigue. In this case, that's resting for an hour.
Okay. Well, I tried to help, Richard. I really did.
Yeah. And so as this sort of is coming out, it's like
tried. That's what matters.
like Felden's hand is on your shoulder, you're trying to help, and then he just sort of is like
Cough smoke all over your face.
just a little weird considering he hadn't pulled on a cigarette just before that happened, but
I think while this is all happening, Willa's gonna shine the flashlight
First aid,
onto
roll
the
that.
hunched over silhouette of the person on the periphery of the lot and be like, "Hello there, can I help you?"
Oh hey, it's getting closer.
Oh, great.
So
Awesome.
as it approaches, you see this figure. I'll need to describe this. Hold on just a moment while I open the thing. So we have it. Yes. So this fella, you can see it. Who all is looking in that direction when Willa raises the flashlight? That is my question.
Oh,
I
no.
definitely am. I definitely
So-
am.
It's Piper
I
and
was
Willa.
past
Everyone
tense.
else is working on the.
Richard is
Everyone else is
preoccupied.
working on this hobo. This secondary Norman. We got 20 RTs, by the way.
I'm thinking
so
like
excellent.
Norman the Greater and Norman the Lesser here.
Yes. We're not sure which is which, but this is secondary Norman, and you actually have met other Norman, but I can't remember. I don't. You might not recall his name. Anyway, Norman, the other Norman you met runs the candy shop, but enough Normans for now. We've gotten. Here, someone's about to get an insight because we got 20 RTs. Thank you very much for that, by the way. So, Piper and Willa, as you look up, you see this person is sort of wearing torn clothing, and it's like their flesh is very sunken in. They look cadaverous. And their teeth jutting out. It's like some of their skin is pulled back at this point around their mouths. They have claws on their hands, and their teeth are sharpened to points. You see that they have pale eyes as they're moving toward you. And I will need Willa and Piper to make a fear check. That's a spirit roll, please.
Okay, it's my highest attribute. Fingers crossed here. Wait.
I'd like to spend a Benny on that.
Well, both of you succeeded,
Oh,
as
okay.
far as I can tell. Right? You got a 4 and a 7.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm reading that right. Yeah. No, you needed a 4.
Okay.
So you're okay. But you can see kind of like it just sort of is as you bring the light up. It's doesn't seem to like that. Not It's not like it's it's like, but it's kind of like you shine a light in somebody's face, and it kind of leans forward, and you have a moment as it's looking at you, to decide what you're going to do.
I am going to pull out my survival knife and flick the blade open. So it's kind of like a Swiss Army knife. So it has like a small blade to it. That's what I've got in one hand, and I'll just keep it down low and keep shining the flashlight in its face.
Oh, lest we forget, Richard, did you make your healing roll, by the way?
I will do that now.
Let's go ahead and get that out of the way before other things may or may not suddenly happen.
Use the Benny on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
We should definitely put some band-aids on Norman before he dies, y'all.
Yeah, you do that. You're able to bandage this kid up, and he seems to be okay. Or at least for now, he stops bleeding. I'll put it that way. But
in the meantime, does Mordecai notice anything other than the fact he's dazed? Like, does there alcohol in his breath? Does he seem like he's high on something? Does he have a fever? Anything like that?
It's something not unlike a fever. Yeah, something not unlike a fever. The skin's a little. I say not unlike because it's almost the opposite. Skin's a little cold and clammy. He's not doing great, but it's like he seems to be. Once the bleeding stops, that seems to be helping a little bit. And I just need to know if, and again, so this is primarily for Will and Piper who's looking at this. You have, everyone else is aware there's someone there, but you have a moment. What do you want to do?
Piper takes out her switchblade as well, and is holds it ready to just start stabbing if it gets close. She's terrified, and I think in this moment of terror she's kind of shaking a little bit and trying to take a couple shuffle step backwards and just wave her arms to make sure that other people know where we are in case we need help, but not screaming. She's trying not to scream.
You have made the universal sign of alerting people that a thing is happening, and as a result, no one here will be surprised.
Yeah, so we all noticed the thing was happening.
Yep, you notice a thing is happening.
On the bandage, turn around.
Does Mordecai recognize the shape of, I hesitate to call him a man, but the creature threatening the girls?
Make a, let's see. Now let me see if I can remember what I gave you. I gave you a cult. Make an occult roll. And in fact, everyone who is now looking up at where the light is, I think also needs to make a spirit roll, just because, you can see it now.
A spirit roll too?
Yes.
We don't need to make a second
spirit.
one.
3 for spirit.
No one needs to notice anything at this point. It's pretty obvious. Okay.
Has it been long enough that I might try to be unshaken?
This is all happening kind of within its own. It's gonna. Well, you'll have the ability in just a moment.
Okay.
It's This is the absolute next narrative beat that happens. So I think it's going to happen when we come to your card, which is going to happen in a second. But first off, dealing with these spirit rolls. So Kai is the only one who failed the spirit roll. Are you happy with that, or do you want to spend one of your bennies?
I'm spending a benny.
Okay.
And what do I just grab one of the coins from the top right and dip and drag?
Yeah, you grab one of the coins from the top right and throw it in here. All right, go ahead and roll spirit again. Oh, still fail. You can keep going if you like, but that's up to you.
Yeah, fuck it. I'm using the ones I get every session. I'm just clarifying.
Yep.
That's what they're there for.
Yeah, you always have to specify if you're going to use your ones that you're playing
Okay.
for. Okay, there you go.
There's a-
You succeeded. You're okay. Yep, you're
Yay.
okay. This is,
But
by the
does
way,
Kai
not the
recognize
same. Not quite the same. There are certain similarities, but this is a little bit different. This is, strangely enough, this looks more to you like someone it's someone infused with concentrated hunger, in a way. But let's go ahead and actually open this delightful table that has the word combat tracker on it, and get this going. So let me real quick see if we can put everyone on here that we need to put on here. And the wonders of doing things for the first time. Oh yes, okay. So I can just go up there to grab you from there. That's good. All right. This is the first time we're using this. It's delightful. Okay, so and that one. Okay, so if we're ready, I'm going to go ahead and deal out your cards. See what order everything goes in. All right. Let's go ahead and actually, well, let's reveal the cards here. Let me see if I can actually get the cards to show me. Or is it's just gonna, why isn't it flipping the cards over? Let me go ahead and deal out cards. Hang on, let me just run through this real quick to make sure we can, there we go, okay, first round. Okay, so on a king, we have Lord Felden going first. So now is the time when, if you wish, you may go ahead and make that spirit roll to see if you unshake.
Oh, I thought it was vigor. Spirit's a lot better for me.
Yeah, spirit is what you unshake with. Vigor is soak. Even with your -1, you got a 5, so you are unshaken and you may act. So there's a thing out there. It
It's
looks cadaverous. Yes, looks like trouble. What you doing?
I'm looking up and I'm looking around at my companions, and going to pick one of them that has a knife out. I think I'm gonna go with Willa. And just the thing that just messed me up, just try that again. To try to increase their fighting.
All right. Sure, give it another go.
Why
what could possibly
not?
go wrong?
Well, it doesn't
Okay.
work, but I don't fail.
Yeah, that was not a botch, as it were. Do you want to spend a penny on that or no?
Why not? Bupe.
All right.
Now it's gonna be a botch. Just know it. Okay, that one
That is
works.
considerably not much.
All right.
Okay, so who
your
are you giving what?
fighting die goes up by 1 size, Willa.
My fighting die. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So what is your what's your fighting?
My fighting die is currently a D4.
Okay.
So it would go up to a D6
Yeah.
for
If you
how
want,
long?
I can.
5 rounds. So probably
Okay.
the combo.
I changed it in my sheet just for now. I'll have to remember
Awesome.
when this is over
Perfect.
to change it back.
Perfect.
And also, I believe that increases your parry by 1.
It does. It automatically.
Yeah.
It automatically factored it in. Yeah.
Fancy
Yes.
grounds, fancy.
Thank you.
That me.
Okay. So that's what you do. Do you move around anywhere? Or are you just going to stay near stay near the victim?
I'll be behind the girls with knives.
Okay. Awesome. That's always the best place to be in any situation. Now we're moving on to the 8 of Hearts, and that is Willa. What do you want to do?
I think I'm gonna unmute myself first. I think I'm going to. Does this thing look like was still moving towards us? This creature?
Yeah. Yeah, it's looking like, it's been sidling closer and closer, and now it's looking like it's getting ready to do something.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm gonna just sort of like take that, stance with the flashlight will be in my hand that's out, and then my right hand holding the knife will be just ready to stab it if it looks like it's gonna make a move, and I'll just be like, listen, I'm warning you not to come any closer. Just turn around, walk away. It doesn't seem like it understands what I'm saying, does it?
I mean, either that or it doesn't care. It's hard to
Okay.
tell.
All right. Is there any way that I can like hold an attack to wait if it does something? Or
Yeah, you can go on hold. If you want to interrupt its action, there's a roll off. But just so you'll know, it's going to go on a. Okay, yeah, it's going to go on a 2. So I believe you can right-click it, and there's an icon for going on hold. If you want to signal that, otherwise, I'll remember.
Yeah, I would like to be able to interrupt its action.
Okay, so there's, like I said, it's going to come to a vigor versus vigor, not vigor. It's going to come to an agility roll when you want to interrupt it. If you don't want to just go before it goes. But I'll go ahead and there you're on hold for now. Now we go down to Kai, who is at the 8 of diamonds. What do you want to do?
Kai is going to rise to his feet, take his camera off and put it gently aside, and take out his trench knife.
Excellent.
Saving the camera is his first priority. That's his lifeblood. And he's going to gently slide up between Piper and Willa, and even though he's a slight little twig of a dude, he's going to try to put himself in between them and this thing. And he's just going to hold up the knife, and he's going to say, "One chance is all you have. Turn around and go."
Okay. Do you want to attempt to intimidate this creature, or do you want to, or do you want to just hold? Well, actually, you can't hold. You moved.
Is there any the creature?
I'm sorry?
Is there any way I could roll persuasion?
You could roll intimidate if you want to try doing that, because that's clearly what you're trying to do.
Okay, where's the intimidate button?
The intimidate is probably, I'm guessing, unskilled, so that would be for you since you don't have intimidate.
Okay,
so that would be the
-2. Let's do this.
If you want to try doing that.
Yeah.
Okay, you got a 4. Let me go ahead and now the intimidation. This is a roll off. Let me actually pull up its sheet here, and let's see. Intimidation, I think, is versus spirit, if I recall correctly. So let's give that a shot.
Does this thing get extra points for possibly being a literal spirit in a spirit roll off? Asking for a friend. The friend is me.
There are things that some of them get. It seems to heed your words, but it's not backing off. It's like it doesn't seem to be. It seems to okay. It takes a little more of a stance. Okay, I got to be careful now. But it still seems intent on whatever it's intent on. As it looks at you all hungrily. So now, let me actually make sure I'm pushing this correctly. We're going to move to Richard. Yeah.
Richard will see what they're up against, throw down the doctor bag, and say, "All right," and then just charge towards it, fists out.
So what do you want to do? Do you want to try to punch this thing, or are you going to do something else?
Get in the mouth.
Oh my god! All right, let's do fighting. Let's do a fighting roll upon this creature.
There we go.
Okay, let's see. You know what? I should have. Oh no, too late. There's a way you actually can drop it. If you can see the combat tracker, you can actually grab the dice, the fighting dice, and drop them onto. It's a Fammonite. You can drop them onto the Fammonite. But we already, you've got an 8, so we're going to keep that because that definitely hit its parry. Its parry is a 5. So you didn't quite get a raise, but you did get a hit. So this is where you would go ahead and deal your damage, which is just a strength die.
I've got martial artist, so it's a strength plus a d4.
That is awesome.
There we go.
Okay, total of
That's
3.
low.
Which again, also I think you can just grab that and drop it right onto the Fammonite, but it's not quite enough to hit its toughness. So you just sort of sock it, and it's like it looks at you and smiles. And now we are on to Piper.
Okay, so Piper is terrified, but takes like a defensive stance where she is, and oh geez, I don't want to get in front of anybody, but I want to try and retcon. I'm going to take my backpack out. I'm going to take one of the she keeps her fire fans in her backpack with her. She keeps them with her at all times. So she takes like one of the butt ends of like the fire fan that has the soaked rag that she lights on fire. She's going to take out a lighter and light it on fire, almost like a little torch, and kind of like move in front of Willa just the tiniest bit and start waving it as like another intimidation tactic.
Excellent. Okay.
Maybe the bright light will scare it away.
You never know. Go ahead and do for me an intimidation roll. Which if you have intimidation, you roll that. If you don't, then make a skill.
Okay.
2.
And I'd like to use Benny.
Well, let me go ahead and roll it spirit so that we can just in case.
Okay. Just in case.
Just in case it rolls a 1. Okay, yeah, you're needing to beat a 4.
Okay, then yeah, I'm gonna use Benny.
Okay. Oh, that's very good. Okay.
Yes.
You come forward, just basically waving this torch, and it's starting to it's starting to back away. Now, because it is trying to withdraw from combat, Richard is right next to it, so you are going to get a free shot in if you want to try to hit it again. Do you want to do that?
Absolutely.
Okay, please roll fighting for me.
There we go.
Okay, that's a 5. That will just hit its parry.
I will take it.
And go ahead and do your damage.
Oh, that's good.
Okay.
That's good.
So that's 12. So interesting thing about these things is that they're. Oh, by the way, I'd like to thank World Anvil for rating us just in time to see our illustrious security force take out a Fammonite. Describe to me how you put it down.
This thing isn't human, so probably just like sock it upside the head, like put it in a headlock, and just break its neck over my knee.
Excellent. That's delightful and very graphic. You see him just like he's like starting to struggle to get away, and you grab him by the ear and you pull him in and just go and it's like that. It's like and it moves no more.
Piper will.
That was
put out
excellent,
the
Richard.
flame.
Thanks.
Good job. Kai is going to sheathe his knife and head back to Norman, kneel in front of him, just like, come on, Come on, let's get you up. We have to get you home.
Willa will do the same, but I'm gonna light a cigarette and hand one to Richard. Well, I guess maybe with, oh Lord, what is his name? Michael Taylor. Maybe had some reason for bringing us out here. If it wasn't quite a price, I hope that this wasn't him wanting to get rid of us somehow, sending some crazed hitman after us or anything.
That wasn't a hitman, Willa.
It was a guy that came running at us growling and tried to take Richard out. What else could it be?
It's Willa. Let it go.
What is that supposed to mean?
Kai is going to grab his camera. He's going to take a picture of the corpse, and he's going to take a picture of Richard and everything. And I'm assuming at this point he has no more shots left on the roll of film.
Let's see what you had. You picked up 9 rolls of film.
Yeah.
And you've been taking a lot of pictures at this point. So yeah, you're probably.
I'm assuming standard roll of 35 millimeter film, just 35 shots, assuming he had some beforehand. So I'd say, yeah, he's used 1 roll.
Yeah, I will double check, but that sounds reasonable.
Yeah.
Willa, it's just that you're so steadfast in your logic. You're implacable.
Well, thank you.
Kai is just going to kind of keep his mouth shut as he rewinds the film and roll of film.
Film rolls, basically in that era, or rather, film rolls in this setting, according to the gear section. Film rolls can be loaded in daylight and contain 12 or more exposures per roll. So it just depends on if this is like anything particularly special. I was thinking it's about a dozen per.
Okay.
But yeah, this is a special camera, so we could say that it's like 15 per.
Okay, cool. 15 per works.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
right.
Yeah.
So this would probably be, if you took about that many shots. We'll say that you're coming to about the end of your second roll of film.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, they're only like 20 cents a piece, I think. So,
Yeah.
You can always pick more up if you need them.
Yep. Just making a note of my inventory.
Sure.
Well, as much as I don't like to immediately think the worst of this fellow, I also highly doubt that this is an acceptable place for us to set up the carnival, regardless. At least at night, which is when we would be doing most of our business anyway.
Let's take a little gander around, see if there's anything else we can root out. I'm sure it can't be this bad all the way through.
Yeah, Piper.
Was any of this like the Northfield? Didn't y'all say that you had problems with like people being eaten and stuff up there? Do you think this is the same sort of problem? Should we?
They might be connected, but they're not the same. I think they're different symptoms from the same sickness.
Well, then why would? I'm just confused on what Matt Taylor's
giving me the creeps.
Yeah, I'm concerned. I don't know what his angle is. I don't understand why he would put us all the way down here if there's still the same sort of problem, or at least a different variation of the same problem.
But
that's why someone who is good at talking to people should talk to him.
I'm gonna go real quick while we're still here and see if I can investigate those other fence post things that had the hobo code written on them that I didn't see before this thing came at us.
Sure. So you head over to some of the other posts that are closer on that to the other side. And you do see two more symbols that are kind of out, sort of more in this has sort of been staked up, sort of on posts that are sort of in the middle between you and the tent city. One symbol is, where is it? One symbol is the symbol for be quiet, which I had in front of me a moment ago, but I don't have it in front of me now. The other symbol, it's this kind of, looks sort of like almost like, only it's more angular. It's a little stake, a leaf pointing up, and or it might look like a little the head of a shovel. It says and it means be prepared to defend yourself.
Well, that does not make any kind of sense to me. I will just let the group know. I'm not exactly sure how this is all connected, but whoever owns this place doesn't come out here very often to check on it, which is apparently why this camp can exist here. However, it also says on these fence posts to be quiet and be prepared to defend yourself, which luckily we were. Otherwise, look like our buddy Norman over here. But I don't understand then why they would be willing to set up a camp here if we thought that nobody was coming and poking around, and yet it's dangerous to stay here.
Sorry.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I will say, as you're looking back over, Norman is now, looks like, is recovered consciousness and is kind of sitting up, as now that the immediate danger is past, the benefit of a clue is about to come to you from your from the very generous Twitter audience. Is he just sort of is sort of sitting up, and he's looking, is like, is everyone, what happened? What happened?
Well, we were hoping you could tell us that, Norman.
Oh, hi. Oh, okay. What did you see? He's like looking for his jacket.
Kai tells him about how he came stumbling out of the darkness, how he was bleeding, basically everything leading up to now, including the creature. He excludes how it was put down, but he mentions it's put down.
Yeah. I mean, there's a body lying over in the darkness, but he can't see that right now. He just sort of be like, oh yeah, that sometimes if you go too long without eating, that kind of happens to folks sometimes around here.
So this is common?
It's a normal thing.
I mean, doesn't happen a lot. Try to keep it at bay. We have some visitors coming in though, so they not all have known the rules. You gotta eat something at least once a day. Doesn't matter what it is. Tree bark, anything.
Piper, can you give me some of that licorice for this boy?
They can't.
No, I'm just gonna say he needs to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Eat it
she
as a
reaches into
little
her
snack.
backpack and grabs the whole thing out again and actually just gives him the whole bag.
He's like, oh, really?
Yeah, I can always get some more. It's okay. It's just licorice.
Thank you. He's like, he goes, feels, and he sort of starts to go at them. And then sort of there, he actually doesn't do the whole thing. He's trying to restrain himself. And he stops. He's like, and he's, as you swear chewing, he says, "Thank you. Glad I made it out here. They can't make it out here. Not usually.
They?
No, when you get like that, you can't make it onto the lot."
What do you mean?
like hungry? You can't make it out of the
Uh,
lot?
Oh, hungry like that. Yeah.
Like
Is
there's something
there
that
a
keeps them
reason?
away from it.
Yeah, is there a reason though?
He looks around and he says, "I'm not sure. As long as I've been here, they've never been able to set foot on the thing."
And how long have you been here?
About, I want to say, 4 or 5 years. I mean, I come and go, but as long as I've been coming here.
Do you know how long there's been like a settled community of people staying here?
Oh,
In the tents and such, I mean.
I mean, that's been going on and off since since they had made the rail spur. So back in 1890s.
Okay.
There was mine in here before that, so plenty of tents, tents up too. It was around the 1890s. Is when the I think the pillar went up.
Yeah, that's quite a
kinda
landmark there.
Kind of changed the local economy, from what I hear. Yeah, had to do other stuff. But yeah, there have been folks here since that time.
How
Richard's
often
gonna
does
step
that?
over and go.
I'm sorry. What's Richard doing?
He's going over to look at the symbols that Willa had looked at to see if there's any that he notices or recognizes.
I think you've been around long enough, traveled long enough to recognize that it's hobo sign. Is Richard familiar with what hobo signs, the different ones, mean?
He is not. He's looking for a more particular symbol.
Ah, right. Make a notice roll for me, please.
Oh boy. Whew.
Okay.
Pretty good.
It's not they're okay. So, a couple of things. So, actually, yes. You don't see them on the posts, but there are in the ground. There are certain sort of rocks in the ground or stones in the ground sort of area where there's still it's you would think it'd be gravel, but just underneath the gravel there's where there's some like these gravel trails out. As you're just kind of looking around, you realize you spot it, kind of not far from where Kai stopped the first time. You spot a symbol very very much like one that you're familiar with, kind of carved into this rock that's in the ground. So they've been drawn into the ground, and so it's like, and I'm going to say, since you got like 2 raises, so you think there are more as you're kind of because you're like on it and you're moving the flashlight around and you've seen that you see another one several a few meters away, shall we say, a few yards away, and then another one, and you think that there probably are a number of them just around this particular lot,
Forming a perimeter.
Yeah, one could say. And you realize you charged past that perimeter when you engaged with the creature.
Gotcha.
So that happened outside of the perimeter.
He's probably just walking around clearing out gravel where all of the symbols are to where they're visible.
Yeah.
How intriguing.
It's sort of. It looks like they have been covered over, all of them, and so you're uncovering them. Everyone sort of sees Richard as doing this, sort of around the outside, just very close to the lot, but around the outside of it, just going around and kicking over things, moving things.
He's like single-minded, doing this one thing.
What interesting symbols.
Yeah. The symbols, which now everyone can see, are decidedly not hobo sign.
I've never seen this one before. Does this mean something to you, Richard?
Yeah, does Mordecai recognize it?
Make an occult roll for me. 5. So it's a little odd because it's kind of like there are some symbols that certain religions, certain cults will use to try to contain something, perhaps, or as their thought, contain certain energies, as it were. And some of them use things as more like warding. This is kind of more warding of a sort. It's generally, though, usually it's from what you understand, this is usually sort of in the arena of kind of black magic. It's what you've heard anyway.
Yeah, Kai leans over and shares that with Felton. Quiet.
Not too surprised, to be honest. That Taylor fellow exuded quite the odd energy.
Something about me tells me he's not quite human.
Indubitably. But however, this does mean he has offered us quite a nice place to set up our carnival, does it not?
It's already worded, yeah. What else can we hope for?
Earlier, Willa had asked Richard if it meant anything, and he probably just looks up. His face is pale and just gives a look. Doesn't say anything, but gives a look of like, yeah, it means something.
It's just gonna be like, it's all right, friend. Whatever it is, you did well with that thing.
Thanks.
It's gonna be all right. And she just sort of like slaps him on the back a little bit before going over to check on Norman and make sure that he's, doing okay, and see if we can like get him to some people that can maybe take care of him, whether it's a hospital or people he stays with.
Well, yeah. So you've got both options open to you. The people he stays with is basically the tent city, right over there. But there's also a hospital that's kind of within spitting distance of the basically the entertainment district of the hotel.
I'll just ask him which you prefer. I mean, Richard can disinfect cuts and stuff like that, but do you have what you need to take care of this on your own, or do you need some help?
And he's like, I never got bit by anybody before. I mean, I think I stopped bleeding. I think I'm gonna be okay.
That's good. All right. We can come and check back in on you or something like that if you want, but I guess the best thing to do is just keep these cuts clean and let them heal on our own,
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
You gonna be okay, kid?
Yeah. I mean, that hospital gives me the creeps anyway, so yeah, I think I'm gonna be okay. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Norman, was it?
Yeah.
Is it true what they say about the hospital? That it's haunted?
Oh, I wouldn't know. And I think at this point, Piper, and you're the only one who hears this. You hear a friendly voice mention, "Oh, it might be. We should probably check."
Yeah, I was gonna say, so during this entire thing, Piper's been like putting her fire fan back together and like,
Yeah.
you know, putting the things in her backpack together that she kind of ripped open when the fray started. And as she puts everything back, she like kisses her lighter again real quick, puts it in the bag, and then touches the fans and says, "Thanks, I appreciate the help." And then I assume that's probably when she would like chime in.
Yeah, absolutely. And she says, "Hey, it might be." Uh, yeah, I think it's. She's gonna say, "I mean, I've been close, but I'd probably take a look."
And like, you just like, if anybody's watching Piper specifically, she's just starting to like chuckle and giggle and like nod to herself. And she puts her backpack back on. And she walks over and kind of meets everybody else where they're all conglomerated and says, checking out the hospital probably wouldn't be such a bad idea if it's haunted. Maybe it's for a purpose. Who knows? Could be fun.
I'm not quite sure if investigating a haunted building qualifies as fun.
Are you sure? Because
Well-
people pay a lot of good money to pretend to do it.
That's true.
Yes, pretend to do it is one thing.
The thrill increases, as does the danger, in proportion.
I mean, we all work in a carnival, so I feel if we're not trying to have fun on a daily basis, then we're doing our jobs wrong.
Do we work in the same carnival?
It's fun for me. I don't know about y'all.
Maybe I'm just old and jaded.
Please don't lose your charm, Felden. It's the one thing that keeps you young.
Yeah. That.
You, Felden hears a chuckle.
Well, I, for one, could use a little rest.
Yeah, I second that. I could definitely use a bed and some more fulfilling food. And she starts to like rub her stomach as she realizes the only thing she's eaten all day is licorice.
Oh, honey.
Should we report this corpse somewhere?
I think reporting the corpse to the right authorities might not be the best idea. It's not exactly human.
Unless you ask Willa.
Let's
me
be
what?
frank. Well, people don't have teeth like that.
We were just deciding who would be best to report this dead individual to the proper authorities. And we're thinking that your steadfast adherence to the logic might be best to report that.
All right, sounds good to me. Might be best if the rest of us aren't all just hanging around where this happened when I do, but I'd be happy to take care of that. Well, maybe happy is the wrong word, but you know what I mean.
So then we head back to town. Maybe get some shut-eye.
More than happy to
Sounds
oblige.
about right.
Oh, so yeah.
Okay.
If the police station is open, I'll go talk to them and let them know. I'll basically keep it short unless you want to go through that. But stuff like we went out to suss out the location. What'd you say?
Yeah, it's still open. We don't have to role play through it necessarily, but you do. You go in and you meet the police chief. This is basically a one cop town.
Yep.
The police chief's name is Orville Darlington.
Okay.
And he actually is coming back. When you meet him, he's coming back from the Northfield. So when you tell him, he's coming back from the Northfield. Apparently, he had a reason to be out there. When you tell him about the body, he doesn't seem terribly surprised. He's like, oh great, another one.
I think you've got a real problem with rabid animals in this town, Chief. I mean, this man came at us like he had been bit by something that made him turn a little feral. And we were having troubles ourselves earlier on getting set up to make sure that we could set up our carnival in a safe place. And I'm not sure what's got into the animals around here, but it really just seems to me like they're posing a real threat to this town.
Yeah, that's the thing that often hits, especially the folks who are staying in tents. For some reason, they're not careful out at night, and they can get hurt.
Well, you're just very exposed,
Well, we do have a problem with. We've got some particularly feral critters out here sometimes. I'll tell the warden about it, just about just so they can send out someone from animal control, so the county knows. You've got so just the one, right?
Yep, just the one.
Okay, great. That makes 3 tonight. We'll take care of it.
All right. Thank you very much. We'll see you hopefully at the carnival tomorrow, sir. Good night.
Oh, you're with that carnival, yeah. Okay, good. Yeah, good night. This guy kind of is bald on top, tufts of hair at the sides. So you head back to your to the hotel, presumably. Is anyone doing anything else before they bed down for the night? All right. Oh wait, yes, Kai.
Mordecai would like to take the chance to develop some of the 2 rolls of film he has really quick.
Okay, yeah. You can take some time and do that. You basically can close yourself up in the bathroom, and you get your equipment out and start developing film.
That's what Mordecai is going to do, specifically because he's curious about the pictures of Felden when he was talking to nobody earlier.
Okay, so those are the ones you're going to be focusing on. Go ahead and just for as you're doing this film development process, just make a smarts roll for me, please. Okay. This is probably the first time that you've taken pictures of Felden before. But this is the first time that the timing has been such where you've seen, yes, really, for the posters and everything like that. This is the first time probably that you kind of caught a candid shot of him, I think. And it's a good shot. But the odd thing is it does look as though there's someone standing with their hand on his shoulder. And it's like there's, and you can't quite make out. The trouble is that on the image itself, and it's kind of like a silhouette of a person. It has kind of the edges are a little fuzzy, but the rest of the picture is not fuzzy, which is weird. And it's like there's some kind of, I don't know, a miasma coming off of it. It's weird.
Okay. Kai sets those aside. And do any of the pictures have anything weird, like the pictures of the lots, pictures of the body, anything like that?
Okay, let's see. As I recall, the pictures of the lot all come out actually a little more clearly than you expected them to in the dark, which is a little weird in and of itself. But I mean, they seem to be like perfect pictures of the lot to the south. When you're looking at the pictures to the north, from the lot to the north, and the picture of the body that you took really quickly, that looks pretty much just like it's, you know, it's a half-eaten corpse. But you do see there's a thing where the guy who had the shovel sort of was turning around and looking, and you did catch him. And it's what you have him actually in a couple of pictures, because you were taking pictures all over the place outside as well. Every picture that he's in, which isn't a lot, he's in like 2 or 3 of them. His eyes do that thing that you'll sometimes show up in photos, where they've got they look like they're, you know, sometimes if you get, you know, if there's much of a that kind of thing, where the eyes will be lit up.
They're reflective.
Except of course this was in daytime, which is a little strange. The
Human
other
eyes
thing,
don't do that.
no, they don't generally. Also, then finally, as you're going through these, actually, did you take a picture of the? Did you take a picture of the thing while it was still up before it went down? I don't think you did. I think you just immediately pulled out the trench knife.
No, I didn't.
Yeah,
I just pulled up the trench knife.
Okay, so there is as you're going through it, one of the last pictures you go back, since you're kind of going backwards through, is just of the lot itself, and this is a picture in which you have the that pillar of smoke in sight, and the pillar of smoke actually looks a little weird. You know, sort of when you are looking at an image, or rather at the best I can describe this would be like a thing like, say, and this is okay. I'm describing this out of character because it's the best way I can think to explain this. Because Hitchcock has not come around yet to making the kinds of movies in this timeline that we all know him for. But you know, sort of in the kind of in a movie that's like a Hitchcock movie, where you'll have intros that are little sort of cartoony intros that they draw up, where you have the people following silhouettes of dead bodies type deal, and some of them you'll have, like, say, an image of a door that's open with light flooding in, and you know what that looks like, right? It's like this triangle of light down between an image of an open door. That's kind of what this pillar of smoke is looking like.
Okay.
A source of brightness in the image with, it's like some sort of, It's got a tail on it, basically, coming out.
Kai is going to tuck the picture of Felden off to the side, and he is going to bring the rest of them out, and just the black and white prints, he's just going to pass them around. The ones that are weird, he's going to pass them around to the crew.
So you're doing this let me ask you briefly, because it's going to take you a couple of hours to do. I'm kind of assuming you're going to do this in the morning because
Yeah. Kai
you're
has no problem
staying up a couple extra hours
pictures.
to go into the bathroom. Okay, so morning comes, the sun springs unbidden sky. The distant factory whistle that can't actually be heard from here because it's like a dozen miles away. But everyone sort of feels almost in this town the factory whistle, because everyone gets moving as people start getting into their vehicles and heading toward the Hexago plant for their Friday morning work ritual. Folks in town, anyway. But yes, in the morning, Kai has kind of asked folks to regather, probably at the center room, I'm guessing. And photos are being handed out. The things that I have just described.
Just real quick, I believe Richard has to make a spirit roll for that night because of a specific hindrance he's taken.
Yeah. Go ahead and make spirit roll for me real quick. Let's see how you did.
Oh no.
Oh dear.
No.
You want to Benny that? Yeah.
You can use a Benny because I feel like I feel like you would. This wouldn't be a thing that would be Bennyable personally, but
Yeah. All right. That's entirely up to you, sir. All right. No. You you have interesting dreams. Kind of similar to those that you have described before. But the interesting thing is this time you get the impression that there's a bigger job, kind of like the bank job, to do here. And it's about to go off very soon.
okay. So he wakes up with a level of fatigue.
Yes. Whereas conversely, Felden gets rid of his level of fatigue.
Hoorah.
Trade.
Yeah, you win some, you lose some, I guess.
So does everyone assemble to look at the photos, or is this
Yeah.
or
Yes.
is there other things about?
Yeah, Kai passes around the photographs. And for the girls, he explains the ones about the body and the guy. And the other, he just says, yeah, this is kind of weird. Just showing what he found.
Astounding.
What's the little aura thing on Felden? Felden, what is this? And I show Felden his own picture.
I believe Kai did not share that one.
Yeah, Kai would have
was
kept that
the
one.
only one you didn't? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, just the ones of the flesh-eating face monster, the pillar
Dead
of smoke.
body. And the half-eaten dead
Which
body.
is really cool how it looks
Okay.
like a door.
Yeah, it's an
I have
astounding
no
effect
idea
by
how
the
this
photographer.
I didn't do this. The camera did it.
Looks like a really cool optical illusion.
Exactly. Fascinating.
Did it look like that when you took it, Kai?
No, it didn't. It just looked like it always does. This camera does things on its own. It's always been that way.
That's not ominous in the slightest.
You don't know the half of it, my friend.
Well, regardless, it's they're beautiful, morbid, but beautiful.
So my question remains is what do these have to do with what's going on in town?
What do these all have in common here?
Mhm.
I think Michael Taylor is a pretty good lead here. I would like to go and talk to him about this field, but we do have the Carnival train coming in, which we can't miss meeting them to get set up regardless. I think we're gonna have to cut our losses and set up, but I would like to still go have some words with him about his field or his lot rather, what's going on there.
Yeah. And Mark, what time is it in game and what time is the train supposed to be in?
Going.
So it is currently. It's fairly it's fairly early, but I feel as though a couple of you probably wanted to get in a little rest. So we'll say it's about between 8 and 9, and the train comes up in early afternoon.
Oh, so we got plenty of time to talk to
around
Winter.
1 o'clock is when the train.
Yeah,
comes
we got
through.
time.
You can talk to Taylor, go down and check out the spooky hospital, and still have time for lunch.
Yes.
Sounds like a plan to me, honestly. I wouldn't mind getting the chance for some R&R before we set up.
And
I
before
feel like there's something going on here.
oh, there definitely is something going on.
Yep. Don't know what it is exactly yet, but the sheriff
But we'll
last
get
night did mention that there were 2 other bodies that he wound up finding that had also gone feral and had to be put down and stuff like that. So I
What a
honestly
horrible
think it's
town
wild
we find.
animals. He said that he was going to call animal control though, so hopefully they're able to get all of that settled amongst themselves before it's going to be an issue for us.
Hmm.
Are we gonna have
That-
to worry about when the carnival's actually set up? Are we gonna have the necessary means to protect everyone if it comes to it?
As long as I believe we remain within those symbols we saw last night, we should be all right.
Well, all right.
I don't really know what those are or what they do, but I am happy to set up the carnival on a mostly flat surface. So
Still don't know. I mean, I would say not to set it up, but it seems like there's not really any going back now.
We need the money.
yeah, unfortunately, beggars can't be choosers and all that. So, Michael Taylor it is, I guess.
I know you and Felton were originally planning to go. Is that still on the plan, or what would you like?
I'd still like to go, but anybody who wants to join me is welcome.
I'd like to be there.
Fine by me.
Something about him that's decidedly off.
Yep.
Yeah,
I
I'll
think
go
it
with
those two.
probably goes beyond local politics shadiness, and I'm very interested to find out what it is that's actually motivating him,
Mm, exactly.
particularly his generosity with us.
Well, does anybody else want to split up and do something else, or are we all going to talk to this fella together?
It looks like we're all going together then.
Perfect.
Okay.
Should be the case. I don't really want a lot of us splitting up right now.
Yeah, that seems reasonable.
Where are you heading?
We want to go talk to Michael Taylor.
Right.
So we would go to...
I don't know where he is.
Yeah, where is he anyway?
the
He also-
He owns the hotel, so he'd have an
Yeah, he
office
owns
here.
the hotel.
Right. he should have an office here.
Why don't we just ask Barbara where we might find him at this hour?
That's not a bad idea.
Idea.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
No, not yet. Not yet. Happens later.
Wrong universe.
Hello. Not entirely inappropriate though. So yeah, no, you head down to the front desk and you see that Barbara is there. She is she's talking to another person at the desk, another hotel employee that she's going over some things with, and she looks up as you come down. Oh, good morning. How'd you sleep? Oh, don't talk at once.
As well as can be expected, considering we had kind of a late night last night. Anyway, that's not important right now. Listen, we were wondering if you could tell us where we could find Mr. Michael Taylor, the owner of this hotel, right around this time of day. We had a couple questions for him about the place that he kindly offered to let us set up our carnival.
Oh, he'll
Does he have an
probably be.
office?
Well, he's at this time. He's usually still up in his room. He'll probably be down in about an hour, I'd say. He's usually over in the if he's not, and then at that point, if he's not in his office, if he's not in the office, then he'll be over in the dining area probably.
All right. Do we maybe want to go check out the hospital while we wait for him to awaken?
I'll be down with that.
Suppose.
I like
Thank
the plan
you
of
so
that.
kindly, Barbara.
Of course.
So let's go investigate the haunted hospital.
So yeah, you go out and you head down the street. You go a few blocks, and you see this hospital building. That's basically it's just it's a single-story hospital, and it's this flat brick building, and you see it is open. They don't ever close. Basically, sort of the this entryway where you can drive people into the emergency room, and then they've got the regular entrance. And I presume you're going to go into the going to go to the reception desk. Is that kind of where we're headed first, or do you want to look around the outside?
I don't have
Kai
any
is-
interest in going outside.
Kai just kind of wants to go right inside, if that's okay with everybody else.
Oh, please, I'm just along for the ride here.
Okay. So as you head in, you see that there are not a lot of folks in here. This is it's not a very big hospital, but you see that there's a nurse sitting behind a reception desk, not too far from the front door, and she looks up and at you all entering and says, "Oh, hello. How can I help you?" She looks like she's in her late 30s, maybe.
Well, hi there. We're not from around these parts, and we're just kind of making ourselves familiar with the area. Just wanted to introduce ourselves. We're from the carnival that's going to be setting up, and you know, we wanted to maybe see if there were people in any sort of condition that would be willing to see some performance to kind of help spread some joy.
Oh, no, that would be nice. We do have, yes, we do have a children's ward here. If you want to, if you know you've got one who would sort of come through, and if you wanted to send someone through, that's always a wonderful thing. We can certainly work something out with respect to that.
Absolutely, we would love to help. If you could just point us in the right direction, we'd be more than happy to get our stuff situated and ready to go for them.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, let me get someone. And she gets up and she will she calls over another nurse to man the desk, and she'll take you down. And as she's heading over, she says, "Yes, this is the." As you're heading in that direction, I actually would like. Yes. What would I like to have happen? I think I know what I would like to have happen. As you all are heading in that direction, you kind of see there's this hallway leading to, as you're not far from the children's ward, but you see there's this hallway that's leading to this door that's got a big sort of X on it, and it looks like it's boarded up. And
It's a Black Plague ward.
I was just
Yeah.
gonna say, as we like walk past it, I think like Piper just like points, is like,
so an interesting thing is that kind of as you're looking over, and I would like Willa to make a notice roll, please. Willa specifically.
Alrighty. Let me get my fantasy grounds to open. There we go. Notice, you say. All right.
Oh, that's very
7.
good. Yeah, you see that there is a Willa notices, Willa and only Willa notices, as you are all looking down this hallway, that there is what looks like there's a child sort of sitting outside this door, who is like every now and then just sort of looks up and is sort of like banging their fist against it and just shaking their head. And they're like they're looking, you know, they seem to sort of sigh, and they put their head down. It's a little girl.
Do I recognize this kid?
It's not the same kid. Has a kind of a similar look. She's wearing a kind of a little clothes are fashioned, but not too much.
Okay. I'll just say to the rest of the group, you all go on ahead. I forgot something. I'll be right along.
Sure thing.
All right.
I'm gonna walk up to the kid that's just sitting there. I'm gonna reach out and poke her in the chest.
Okay, you do that, and as you sort of walking up, she's like, "Oh, hi."
Oh, sorry. You remind me of somebody. What's your name?
You know, you would think that I'd have a name by now, but the person in charge of giving me one, like a moron, Octavia.
You don't happen to have any family over East, Octavia, do you?
He shrugs.
Have you been here in the hospital for a really long time?
Yeah. Long time.
Right. What can you tell me about this place? My friends are convinced that it's haunted. I'm not really sure about that. I'm less sure as I go through here, but I'm curious if there's anything you've noticed that's weird about this place.
I can't get in anymore, she says, gesturing to the door behind her.
Would you like me to help you get in to this door?
Could you?
Sure. I'm gonna try and open it if I can.
So it looks like
There's
it's
like
been
a
nailed.
doorknob or something? Oh, okay.
Not at this point. It looks like the boards have been put across it, and it's nailed, and that are nailed in place.
Okay, well, what's behind there that you need to get in there so badly?
Actually, also make a notice roll for me that now that you're here looking at this door.
Okay, I'm scared.
Nah, nothing to be scared about.
5? I don't
Okay.
think.
Yeah. Most cases you're looking for a 4.
Okay,
So
okay.
4 or better. So yeah, as you're sort of looking around, yeah, you sort of look at this, and there's actually, it looks like, you do notice kind of where over to the side of the door, and you would have missed it if you hadn't been sort of looking right at it.
Yeah.
There's, it looks like somebody's drawn a symbol. They're kind of like if somebody took maybe like a soldering iron or something and burned a little symbol into it. That looks kind of like the ones they uncovered last night around the lot.
I'm gonna point at it and be like, do you know who put this here?
The lady came this early this morning.
The lady. What lady is this?
I don't know. She shrugs.
Do you remember what she looked like?
She nods.
Can you tell me what she looked like? It's okay if you can't. I want to help you find out what's behind this door. But to do that, I'm going to need you to tell me a couple things before I can go get my friend to help you out. All right?
She nods.
Good.
And she says she was old. She was older than you. And she's
It's like, gee, thanks, kid. Just call the old school.
she had a she looked kind of like a witch. She had like a dark gray shawl and like a red scarf. She had that light brown hair.
Do you know if she's from this town, or had you never seen her before?
I think I've seen her, but I don't usually go outside the hospital.
Okay. Would you mind just waiting here for a second? I'm gonna go talk to one of my friends and see if can't help you figure out what's going on with the store. Can you just sit here? I'll be right back, okay?
She
All
nods.
right. Thanks, Octavia. Oh, I'm Willa, by the way. It's nice to meet you. Well, maybe nice. Just like turns around, muttering, goes off, goes down the hallway, and is it nice? I don't know.
By this point, everyone else has reached the children's ward, which is actually right there. It's actually just around the corner from there. And so the head nurse has been taking you through, and just kind of just telling you a little bit about just some of the patients. They've got like about a dozen kids in here right now that are suffering from different things. It's largely like broken limbs, things of that nature. A couple of them are sick, and yes, Feldman had a thing, yeah.
Yes. Could I just like find one kid who looks particularly miserable?
It shouldn't be difficult. It is the depression.
Give me your most miserable child.
Bring me the most miserable of adults.
Bring me your boy.
What? Is there a particular brand of misery you're looking for, or?
No, just one that looks kind of down.
Would you like your friend to help guide you toward the greatest source of misery in the room? Because he can totally do that. If you really want
to do
to.
that? I didn't know he was helpful like that.
Well, I mean, he's attracted to misery, but
Oh, that does check out.
Actually, you haven't heard from him today. But you haven't heard from him since last night.
Some kid that's like, bed stuck.
So someone who's bedridden
Yeah.
right now? Yeah, sure. There's a little boy who looks like he's about 13.
Right.
He's laid up in bed.
And Feldon will just like walk up, knock his cane against the edge of the bed, and he's like, "Hello." Okay. Kneels down. I'm Lord Feldon. What's your name?
I'm Clifford.
Clifford. What a powerful name. It is my honor to meet you.
And he's just immediately taken in by how you're dressed, and he's just like, he's amazed, and he can't get up because he's got basically a spinal injury. But he's
Now, I'm with the carnival, and I can see that sadly that might be kind of hard for you to come visit. So I felt like I would do my little part and bring a little bit of the carnival to you. And he leans in really close and whispers, "Boy, tell me what you would like to see most in this world."
And he has to think really hard for a moment.
You have a favorite animal or?
Ooh, I want to see a tiger.
Oh, I'm sure we might have a couple of those around. In fact, and Feldon's going to, with a little flick of his wrist, point out the window and going to use the illusion power to make a tiger appear out the window. Just for this little boy.
Oh,
and I'll even spend the extra point so it makes sound too, because I'm feeling generous today.
Oh wow! Okay, this is so pure. Go ahead and Go ahead.
Oh,
and
right,
do
I have to
your,
roll for this. I'm used to
yeah, you
the
gotta do your
D&D
magic, though.
mode where you
That's
just
the thing.
mark off the thing and call it good. Ha! We good. We
Oh,
good.
very
We
good.
good.
Okay.
I
You
don't
were
remember
able
what
to
a
make
raise
this.
does. I think it makes it harder to look perceive through it.
So you start to hear screaming from outside. No, no, you no, you just make the illusion of the tiger. No, you make a very convincing illusion for this kid, and you angle it so that he's probably the only one who can see it.
Yes,
So
as
that way, yeah, so that way you don't get people running and screaming outside.
In fact, if I'm actually tactful, I might put it just on the window itself so that
Yeah.
if somebody outside wouldn't actually see anything.
Yeah, basically, yeah, it looks totally like a tiger, and he's like, "Wow," and he's looking at it. And he's really pleased by that. He's like, "Thank you, thank you."
Now, I hope that's a little, and the tiger like jumps out of frame. I hope.
Oh, there is a frame. It's a window frame.
Yeah. I hope I've brought a little sparkle to your day, child. Please tell others. Visit the carnival.
Well, this kid is now your shill for life. Congratulations. And this, of course, is when the kid leaps up, claws coming from his no. No, he's fine. No, this kid is over the moon that you have shown him this beautiful thing.
Felden's dried up, shriveled heart just beats once.
The Grinch.
It's you do it, and it's the kid is very pleased, and as you folks are sort of looking around this ward, this is about when Willa will be done with her conversation and enter the room, and you've seen you kind of saw a little bit of the tail end. Felden was talking to this kid, and the head nurse was just telling them about the kids here in the ward, and that's where you are.
Hey, Richard, can I borrow you for a second?
Yeah, sure. What's up?
Just come with me, and then we'll get out of the ward and be like, so you were finding some weird non-hobo sign things up by that lot yesterday. I wanted to just ask you, and I'll walk back to the door. I saw something that looked a lot like it, but I wanted to just get confirmation from you that it was the same thing. Is the kid still there?
The kid has moved to some stairs that are going up, but is sitting there sort of in the dark on the stairs.
Okay.
In that hallway.
Thank goodness. I am
Richard,
not losing my mind. Okay.
Richard,
All
by
right.
the way, does not see this kid.
I figured.
Wait, he doesn't?
Well, I mean, as far as
Okay, okay. I'm gonna be like, oh hey, Octavia, this is my friend that I was telling you about. He had seen something kind of like this yesterday. Richard, was this the same thing that you saw?
So,
Do I see
Richard,
who
you
she's
look over.
talking
She seems to be talking to thin air, although you can't really see into that shadow. The kid just sort of looks up and is like, and when she sees that you're showing Richard, she just sort of seems to pull back into the shadows where you can't see her.
It's
Who are
okay.
you talking
It's
to?
okay. I promised that he was this little girl, Octavia, lives in the hospital. Said she needed help. Is the kid still there? Can I still see her?
Not at this point. I mean, you're looking into the shadows. She doesn't seem to be coming back out from the shadow.
Well, I guess she's shy or
Go
something.
over and try to see if you can spot her, but
Yeah, sure. I'll walk a little bit closer to there and be like, "Come on now."
yeah, she's not
Don't be
there.
scared. I promise he's very, very nice. That's weird.
She's not. Yeah, she's gone.
The desk is around here, like a reception desk, right?
You need to go back down the hallway to get to the reception desk.
Okay, I was just seeing if there was maybe anybody that was in the hallway that could have possibly seen where a small little child could have disappeared to.
No, not
That
immediately.
is the darndest thing. Well, she was
The stairs that go
here.
up just go up like a door that's it's like I said, it's a one-level hospital, but the terrain, which is while flat, there's a little the way that it's more a thing what they built up for a second. Sorry, go ahead.
Right. No, I was just looking to see if that's really odd. Well, there was a young girl here, told me her name was Octavia. She was looking for a way to get into this door that has been boarded up. And she said that she saw somebody come here yesterday and draw that symbol on the door, and ever since then she can't get it open. And I thought you might know something about it.
If you look at the symbol, I assume it's the same one.
And it is, again, it's very similar. The ones, again, from last night are not precisely the same, but they're very similar. It's very much the same family of symbols, basically, so that you can easily assume they come from the same sort of source. This one is, again, this one is very similar to the one on that you saw on the ground, closer to the one on the ground than the one from before. Closer to the one on the ground last night than the ones you saw before. But it's so it looks very, it looks like it's similar to whatever warding type thing they were doing before, maybe, but it's hard to say.
You said someone put this up here?
Well, she said that some old lady came in who looked like a witch, but she also said that the lady was older than me, so it's entirely well, that was a little bit more fanciful than strictly true. She said an old lady came in here and drew this on the door.
Okay, we need to find who drew this on the door as soon as possible.
Okay, why?
There's definitely something going on here. There's something going on. We need to find who put this on the door.
Okay, okay, I believe you. She just mentioned that it was somebody who was old and looked like a witch and was wearing a gray shawl and a red scarf. But I mean, that could be like anybody. That could be anyone in this town. We just don't know. I don't know if she's from here or not. Kid was a little bit cagey on the details.
From some of the people that we've seen so far, does that sound familiar to anyone? I assume not, but perhaps maybe
not off the top of your head.
Okay.
I mean, you've seen a number of women here who could fit that description. None of them were wearing a shawl and a scarf, but then they were all indoors. So.
Yeah. Although I guess if she was wearing these articles of clothing indoors too, maybe we should be looking for people wearing layers indoors. I don't know. But we'll find whoever it is, because it just seems awfully suspicious that there would be a door boarded up in the middle of a hospital like this and everybody's just okay with it.
Yeah. All right, we need to... And he's just kind of like slightly panicking, just kind of like, we need to do something now. Maybe I think I might have an idea. Okay. We're gonna need flyers. Good amount of flyers.
Flyers we got. What do you need them for?
Okay, we go around to each door, just advertising the carnival. Maybe we can find who we're looking for.
Like it. Get some good business for the carnival too, hopefully.
Hopefully.
But yeah, that's probably the best way that we can go around knocking on random doors looking for people, and I like this idea.
Yeah.
Maybe we should get the others.
Yeah, definitely. Where are we keeping the flyers? They in the car or the truck?
Yeah, they'd probably be back at the hotel. I think we unloaded all of our equipment and stuff from there.
All right, if you can go
Sure.
get the others, I'll go get the flyers.
Sounds good. It's gonna be okay. We'll find whoever this is.
Yeah.
I'll go back
And
to the Edward.
Yeah, he'll split off and go towards the truck to get flyers.
Okay. So you're heading off to get flyers, and Willa is going, I think, back to the group.
Yep.
Is that right?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm gonna just slight change of plans here, crew. We are going to be flyering in the town until the train gets here. So make your goodbyes to the kids, and hopefully we'll see some of you at the carnival. And then she just turns around and walks out. I was like, I'm not a performer.
Why?
Because I used to work with kids, and I decided that I didn't want to do that anymore.
Why are we changing plans?
Oh, never mind. Sorry, we're changing plans because I was like, oh, we're doing backstory. Sorry, that was
so
player
beautiful.
thing.
No, that was Willa, 100%.
But it's canonical now. Because we are trying to find somebody that has something to do with that door that's barricaded and the weird little symbol on it that's the same thing we saw at the lot last night. I don't know what it is or what it means, but Richard seems to think it's pretty important that we find this person as soon as we can, and I trust him. So we are going around town. We are looking for somebody that matches this description, and I will reiterate.
Describe Octavia or someone else?
The witch lady. Older lady, supposedly looked a little witch-like, wearing a gray shawl and a red scarf, and she came in here, drew that sign on the door, and she left.
Yeah, that seems important enough.
Plus, we can get some good advertising done for the carnival while we're out.
Yeah.
2 birds, all that stuff.
Wonder. I turn to my new buddy Clifford and be like, you haven't heard anything odd going on in this hospital, have you? Nothing spooky?
He shakes his head. Well, actually, hold on. He's like,
Did you?
starts to shake his head, and then he's like, oh. I mean, there's ghosts in the basement.
Here we go again.
That's what I hear.
That door, I saw it on the way in. I saw that, but I just kind of went by it. Would it be appropriately placed for a basement staircase or something of that variety?
It would be appropriately placed for a basement staircase or something of that variety.
I hate it when I'm right.
Yeah, I look at the kid and then I look at Feldon and my eyes get like really big and somewhat excited. And the entire time Piper's been like twirling her fire fans without the fire and just trying to hand it to the kids, and the kids can play with it for a second and try to spin it, and then they drop it and she's like, oh
yeah.
Cat.
When you hear by the way, Piper, as this is all going on, and Willa you've been having this conversation with you folks, you will hear your friend briefly say, oh, I wonder if this has anything to do with that kid she was talking to a minute ago.
And you physically you see Piper kind of like halt for a second, like taking the information in, and then she just like continues to put on a face and just pretend everything's fine in front of the kids.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I do not like this. I do not like where this is going. Either as a player or as a character. I do not like this.
I'm gonna pop over to Piper and just one solitary tap on the shoulder as I walk by.
I kind of like lean.
What was that about?
Later. We'll have a conversation later. And she's still kind of like bopping around for the kids.
You bring your friend, I bring mine.
Fine. Fair. We can do that.
You know I don't
Sounds
like
good.
his friend.
It'll be a good time. Just the best. And she's saying that to like Felden and her friend. She's like, it'll be a good time. We'll all get along. It'll be great.
Yeah. On the way out, Felden will just do like spin his cane and flip his hands. A little puff of smoke flies out of his sleeve, and he's like, "Don't forget to come to the carnival, kids."
Yay!
And the smile just melts off his face, and he turns around, closes the door behind him.
Ah, yes. And the head nurse does her thing. All right, kids, say thank you, and then she'll sort of wait for you all to leave, and then leave behind you. Thank you so much. I think they're going to love it. That this is in town. One or two of them should be ready to check out within this weekend, so they might be able to see a little bit. That's so good. That's so good. I'm so glad you folks are in town.
Oh, we're glad to be here.
Yeah. And so, what are you folks doing?
Going back, I think, to meet up with Richard and get the flyers so we can start going door to door.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. No. Totally. You head back to where the hotel is. The flyers come out, and you get ready. Basically, you're all sort of prepared to you start getting set up to. You basically sort of describe the plan. I would assume tell everyone sort of the description of the person that you're looking for, and that. So you're getting ready to go out and start distributing flyers to various places. You're just going to go. So let me see. Your plan is to just you're all going to sort of take different segments of the town and go knocking door to door and that kind of deal.
Yes, although I would like to ask if I can go by the mayor's office and ask Anita, the secretary, if she knows of anybody living in the town that matches that description, because it seems like it's pretty small and she's probably had to deal with everybody that lives here or know everybody that lives here, or maybe know of her.
Yeah. Okay.
See if we can narrow things down a little bit.
Yeah. No, that's good. So you're going to talk to her about that, and she'll be curious as to why it is that you want you're looking for this individual.
We have some questions for her that are just a little bit related to our carnival setup area. We found something there that we think might belong to her, and we just want to make sure that she gets it back okay. In the manner of speaking.
Okay. She nods, and she'll think. She said she'll think about it and try to remember. Sort of. She's kind of in the midst of.
Yeah.
Out something now.
But does she seem like she's being cagey on purpose, or is she just distracted and she's like, "Oh yeah, whatever, I'll get to it."
Yeah, as far as you can tell, she looks like she's just really busy trying to get things set up. In part because you've got this carnival coming through, and she will ask you when you're there, how was the North Lot? we had the police come out to take care of some things. We're terribly sorry about the that apparently yes there were some vagrants found there that had been that from what I understand, but that's been dealt with.
No, it's a terrible shame what happened to those people. We did end up getting an offer, though, that we could use the space down south of the town as well, although it remains to be seen whether that's going to be a better idea for us, considering that the sheriff found 3 folks last night that had been eaten by these wild animals or some such.
Oh yes, well yeah, two of those were up in the north lot.
Yes, well, one of them was south of the town, which is where we then decided we might want to set up. So
Oh.
it just seems that there's no ideal spot to put the carnival, so we're just going to stick with the south for now, and hope that the animal control officer can get down here in a timely fashion.
I see. So the you got that sorted out with the owner and everything?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I see. Okay. Well, thank you for letting me know.
You're welcome.
I'll let you know if and as you know, she has to now change something. She's now doing different work. Now that you have told her this, and she will let you know. There are a number of folks in town. She will say at least that there are like at least a dozen people she knows that have shawls like that. But she'll see if she can. If she remembers something more specific, like about the scarf or whatever, she'll let you know. But she's in the midst of a mountain of paperwork right now, more than anything else. Where is everyone else as you're canvassing the town? Sort of. Are you folks keeping mostly to like the residential districts? Are you going around the entertainment district as well? Business? Anything else?
Piper would be in the entertainment district, kind of like passing out flyers from shop to shop. Like, if there's anyone standing on the streets, kind of making small talk and handing them a flyer, trying to get just like understanding the inner workings of that part of the town that we're in, to see if there's like anybody trying to step on the carnival's toes for bringing in other entertainment, or if they're happy, or like she's trying to like suss out the vibe of the area pretty much while passing out flyers.
In general, just in brief, the vibe you get is that it's most of the entertainment district lights up more at night, but it's actually there are plenty of places that seem to do well. There's the theater, which is pretty cool. It's like the biggest building in town. And then also there is the Wailing Rock Saloon which is not open at this hour, but opens probably around 2. Is there, and it's a dry county, so they obviously can't they can't serve anything that a saloon normally does. So they're acting kind of as a cafe, from what you understand at the moment. A cafe. And I'm just going to go around really briefly. So Kai, are you also what sort of part of town are you focusing on?
Kai would definitely focus on the bar, and he would go there, talk to the bartender, talk to the regulars, pass out the flyers. And while he's doing that, he's also on the lookout for potential Johns.
Excellent. Now, it's a little early in the day for that. The bar itself is closed. You can eventually, if you go around and knock, you can gain access. The owner will be around. You can talk to you for a little while. But we'll kind of get into that a bit more if you like. But she kind of gets the idea of what you're looking for, to an extent, I would think. Feldman, is there a particular sort of area of town you're focusing on?
I think Belden was gonna loop around the North Field, see where the people used to be the night that theoretically got tossed out by the law enforcement, and figure out where they went, where they ended up settling, and try to hit that.
Okay. You're basically, from what you can tell, it looks like so the tent city, the little, it's not really a city, it's, there were a few tents. Those are gone.
Yeah.
And initially it looks like maybe they might have gone to join them on the south end. Probably. That's just what it's sort of looking like from just the way that you go back out and you look at the other tent city and it's a little bigger, so it's like, okay, yeah, that's probably it.
Yeah. I'll hit that, and then while I'm down there by the south lot, I'll put up a poster being like Carnival coming tomorrow or whatever the thing says.
Yeah. They're gonna set up tonight. They'll open the vendors tonight, when they get in, and then the actual shows will be tomorrow. Tomorrow and Sunday. Willa, are you sticking to mostly town center, or are you heading to other parts of town to do this flyer campaign?
I think town center for now. It's where I'm close to.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you're able to see a
Not
lot of
going back
people.
into the hospital though.
Yeah, no, it's
No way.
There's ghosts in there. No, you come around. You manage to do a lot of sort of canvassing around the neighborhood, different neighborhoods, and you're able to meet a lot of people. Most of whom seem pretty pleased that the carnival's coming back to town. Some of them are old enough to remember when it came through the first time around, and some of them may have stories about, because that was roughly around the time that the explosion in the mine happened. The first time around, so it was. There was a lot going on. And finally, Richard, what areas of town are you focusing on?
He's heading to the residential districts. Hitting
Awesome.
houses, etc.
On your way there, as you are heading in and you go past the church, you see that there's some activity around it, because apparently, as you had kind of heard, the Reverend, who is in charge of it, is apparently was supposed to get back in this morning. You see some activity, and then you see this guy coming out of the front of the church as you are kind of crossing the street, and you kind of do a double take for a moment. This man in a priest vest, well, not fully the vestment. He's got the black jacket and the shirt, and preacher dressed like preacher. Because you see that he's bald, and sort of looking older. And he gets down to the bottom step, and he pauses, and he looks up, and he locks eyes with you. And you see the face of your mentor, Lazarus Martin. And this is where we're going to end for.
Excuse me?
Oh, that was a twist.
Everybody's got secret friends.
Everyone has secret friends.
Said this sincerely.
this
I think
so
things
much.
being familiar are just bad in this group.
Yeah.
It tends to be. Well, we've actually got not much time before we have another thing coming in, so we're going to real quick go around to get our outros done for this. Let's go around and feel free to say where folks can find you, and we will start once again with Pepper.
Hello. My name is Pepper. I use they, them pronouns. You can find me on Twitter at bbthem4815. And I don't know if we're still doing like our favorite moments from this session, like we usually do.
This session, well, we've only got about like 5 minutes. So we're willing
Fair.
to just wrap this one up real quick.
That's
And we
all.
can, or are we good? No, apparently we're good. Go ahead and say a favorite moment.
Oh, well, for me, it definitely was when it was revealed that Kai was able to capture the image of he who walks behind Felden. That was a definite favorite moment for me.
He who walks behind Felden.
That's the new official name.
Yes. Excellent. Awesome. Well, let's go ahead and kick things down to Nat. And how you doing?
Hi, I'm Nat. Find me on CrimeNet up here. I do lots of TTRPG stuff. You can also find me right now on Mondays over on Chromatic Chimera at it's 3:30 Eastern for Wild Mount Daring and Divine, where I play another magical liar who has somehow even more fun than Felden. Less of a shriveled heart, though. I've been just getting so much life and enjoyment out of every interaction Piper has. It's just absolutely a treasure, and I've been really enjoying that today.
That is
Let me
awesome.
toss that over to Anna.
Yes,
Okay.
hello. I am Anna. You can find me here on Encounter Roleplay in this game. I also play in the City of Mist Dead Winter game on Chromatic Chimera on Friday afternoons, evenings, depending on your time zone. We're getting ready to wrap that up. So if you want to watch me come play a character that is embodied by a mythological being and solves weird occult spooky stuff and actually believes that it's real, that's where you can find that. I am also at Twitter on Numeria941, and I think that's it.
And any final thoughts about this
Oh,
particular
favorite moment, that's right. I was like, I knew I was forgetting something. Oh, 100% being like, hey, Richard, come see this little kid I taught. That's weird. Where did she go? And then like watching him just totally lose it, and I'm just like, oh, clearly she just went up the stairs. Totally.
Yeah, that's it. That's clearly. And over to Colin.
Hi, I'm Colin. That's Twitter. I'm also over at Wayward Expeditions and the Rise of the Rune Lords campaign that we do. It's a podcast and a radio drama style. Check my Twitter profile. It's the easiest way to find the account. I have it in the bio. I think episode 9 just released on Monday. And favorite moment from the campaign. That one, the one that Anna gave, was definitely up there. But I'll give a different one just for variety's sake. I will say, snapping the creature's neck in half just immediately was very enjoyable. That was
Very satisfying.
Not today, motherfucker.
Nope.
Excellent. Awesome. And finally, over to Ray.
Hey, I'm Ray, or with a brick on the internet. You can find me in all the things I do over there. I play Piper here. Tomorrow will be the season finale for The Haunting of Seawell Orphanage, which is also on Encounter Roleplay. So please come and support. The story's been insane. That is 6 p.m. EDT. So yeah, come hang out tomorrow if you have the time. But yeah, my favorite thing, it's actually like a whole thing that's been kind of forming, is seeing how like magic works in the world, and like whenever Felden casts something, like how that kind of goes in story. Like it's really interesting to see how magic plays in kind of like a non-magical or a less magical sort of world. It's been very fun to kind of just watch it unfold. So that I definitely love when I get to see the little magic tricks.
Awesome. Yeah, no, it's very, very cool. I like the magic in Deadlands because it is invariably creepy the more you do of it. But always awesome to see that. Well, folks, as for me, I'm Jim. I am OtherDoc on both Twitch and Twitter. My website is jimyesthatjim.com, where you can find links to my various projects and game signups for stuff that I do on my channel. In about an hour on my channel, I'm going to be playing The Sprawl, which is a PBTA cyberpunk game. On Saturdays, I run Invisible Sun. On Sundays, I do one-shots. One-shots this Sunday is Paranoia. Heaven help me. Gonna take a swing at that. Usually Sunday nights we have a game of Dark Matter. Not this Sunday, but normally we do. Mondays, I'm over on Salty Sweet Games playing Strange Invasion, Assault on the Barrier Peaks. And Thursdays, back here for more of this unfolding mystery. But before we go, just as a reminder, again, thanks once again to the YouTube viewers. Much appreciated. If you made it to the outros as you're watching on YouTube, comment something to the effect that you did. Maybe say something about tell us how much. Tell us what animal you would want to see if Felden came to visit you in the hospital. If you wanted him to conjure up an animal for you, what would it be? Tell us that in the YouTube comments. And in just a few moments here, oh, it's awesome, and Felden is freaking awesome. And in just a few moments here on this channel, you will see a one-shot Troubleshooters. It's an action espionage game inspired by spy comics. So stay tuned for that. Tomorrow, that was, again, as mentioned, the finale of Haunting of Seawall Orphanage, run by Jonathan Fry, and Ray, of course, shall be there. This Sunday at 3 p.m., they're doing their Meat Grinder, which is going to be a faith-themed gauntlet run by Half Hours Tournament, raising money for Great Ormond Street Children's Hospital. So come for that. Thank you again to our sponsors, Fantasy Grounds and World Anvil. This is made possible by you. Thank you so much. And we're going to lead out now to a trailer for Troubleshooters. In the meantime, folks, see you all of a sudden. Farewell.